There are several things that take place within the earth. Objects are at rest, objects fall, and objects are in motion. They move. Hello, respected T and Dr. Crow. My name is Uzair Raja, and today I will be discussing the three laws of motion discovered by Sir Isaac Newton. I do apologize in advance for my artistic skills. Sir Isaac Newton, born 1642 to 1727, was an English scientist who discovered the three laws of motion. It is thanks to his discovery that we are able to predict these forces and predict their motions. Sir Newton thought that it was possible to explain the movement of the universe by mathematical observation. In 1687, he had published his findings, which outlined the understanding of the laws of motion, which are still being used today. The first law is law of inertia, which states that objects in motion will remain in motion and objects at rest will remain at rest until and unless interrupted by external forces. A common example can be a car and its passenger. The car will remain in motion and the passenger will too, until and unless interrupted by a force. When the forces of brakes are applied, the car will stop. However, the passenger will still want to keep moving. Likewise, when a car moves from rest, the person will want to remain at rest, but the car will force it to move forward. This is the law of inertia. The second law is F equals to ma, where force equals to mass times acceleration. Where mass is the amount of matter present within an object, the force needed to move an object depends on its mass. The more mass it has, the harder it is to move, meaning the more force required, and the less mass there is, meaning less force is required. A common example can be throwing a ball in the air. When the ball is thrown up, the force of gravity brings the ball down. However, the force of friction slows the speed of the ball. Another common example can be throwing two balls from the top of a building. Ball number 1 is a beach ball. Ball number 2 is a bowling ball. Ball number 2, the bowling ball, will land on first because it has more mass compared to ball number 1. This was the second law, F equals to ma. Finally, Newton's third law states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. When a force is exerted on an object, the same amount of force is returned to the sender. An example can be two boxers having a mirror match, where each boxer displays the same amount of force to one another. This will result in a draw match because both boxers represent the same amount of force. Another example can be doing push-ups. You apply force to the ground, however the ground gives force to you, causing you to push up. Even though these laws were discovered more than 300 years ago, their principles are still being used to help us understand how certain things move the way they do. They are used in each type of field of engineering, civil, mechanical, and space. This is all thanks to an intelligent man who had discovered these three laws, the laws of motion. If it weren't for his discovery, mankind would not be advancing as it is today. We would not be able to make these discoveries without these three laws. Thank you very much. These have been the three laws of motion discovered by Sir Isaac Newton.